Biden claimed he launched his presidential campaign for one reason and one reason only, because Donald Trump called Charlottesville neo-Nazis very fine people.
He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. What did he say when asked? He said there were good people, some good people on both sides. They asked what he thought. He said, I thought there were very fine people on both sides. He said he thought there were some fine people on both sides.
But even before Biden launched his campaign, the media was already greasing the runway.
In spirit, he's with what he calls the fine people among the ranks of the Nazis.
Very fine people on both sides during Charlottesville.
Him saying there's some fine people among neo-Nazis.
The President of the United States said there were some very fine people.
But that never happened. Trump didn't praise the neo-Nazis as fine people. He condemned them and was talking about the protesters on both sides who weren't part of the fringe groups.
They didn't put themselves down as neo, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
After 7 long years, the Democrats' favorite fact checker has finally admitted what real journalists have known all along. Trump never called neo-Nazis very fine people. Snopes saying, in a news conference after the rally protesting the planned removal of a Confederate statue, Trump did say there were very fine people on both sides, referring to the protesters and the counter-protesters. He said in the same statement he wasn't talking about neo-Nazis and white nationalists, who he said should be condemned totally. Why wait 7 years to admit this was a hoax? Why wait until a week before the Biden-Trump face-off? And does it even matter? Because the Biden campaign doesn't care about fact checks. Their whole campaign's based on hoaxes. They can't come up with a new strategy this late. Biden's going to spend the entire debate hitting Trump with hoax after hoax after hoax and baiting him into wasting all of his rebuttal time talking about dictatorships in Charlottesville and Jan 6 instead of crime, inflation, and the border. They're telegraphing what they're going to do.
He wants to be a dictator on day one. He's also made it very clear, Alex, that if he doesn't win this election, there will be a bloodbath. And I know some of his aides have tried to say that we're overstating that. No, he said that in his own words. So sure, it's an attack line. You're going to hear us making the contrast point more and more, but it's also a statement.